There's something oddly satisfying about cleaning a disgusting pool, and I'm going to show you how we got ours back to swimmable in just one part. We are Nick and Liv, and if you've never seen our DIY videos, we just bought Olivia's childhood home, and this was the pool. Now, both the upper and lower pool pumps were clogged, so we were just going to get a hand pump, even though it was going to take way more time, and run it out through a line that went out to our front yard. If you wondered how long does it take 20 to 30,000 gallons of water to drain from a pool with just a little pump like that, it takes days and days. So in the meantime, I was just skimming out as much stuff as I could get, and I'm sorry to these frogs, but they are losing their oasis. In 24 hours, I was able to get the water all the way down to the first step. Yep, it was slow going, but I figured I would just spray it all down as it got lower. Day by day, the water kept going down, and I kept pulling out baskets and baskets of leaves, and let me just tell you, it smelled terrible. If you've ever wondered what happens to leaves that just sit at the bottom of the water for a long time, they basically turn to mud and gunk, and they rot, and it's just not a pleasant sight. I figured it'd make my life a little bit easier when the water got all the way down if I just kept removing as much as I could. After about 4 days of doing this, the water was getting much lower, and now that we were in a smaller bowl at the bottom of the pool, I knew it would go much quicker. Now, if you're wondering how were there still leaves after I had skimmed so many out, I don't know. It just kept going, and it was taking so many loads to get it out of the pool, and the bottom was even grosser than the top. I used my pressure washer to pressure wash all the sides of the pool, and I honestly was expecting a much more satisfying video, but it was really badly stained. I did mix a cleaner along with the water, and that did help, but overall this pool was definitely stained, and it was going to need a fresh coat of paint and some new plaster to get it back to where it needed to be. So now we're at the bottom of the pool, and there are literally hundreds of frogs and just tons of mud and leaves left. I let a lot of it dry out and used a rake and a shovel to scrape as much as I could, but the bottom of it was the worst by far. This was some thick mud, and I was slipping as I was trying to shovel it into buckets and carry it out of the pool. I was honestly just scared I was going to slip and fall into this stuff because it smelled terrible. And I'm sorry to those that may not have wanted that pool cleaning ASMR. After carrying about 50 buckets of that mud out and putting them into the yard, it was time to pressure wash the bottom of the pool and really get everything out one last time. I have done a lot of pressure washing in my day, and I've got to say, this was one of the least satisfying jobs because it wasn't leaving those clean lines because the stains were just so bad. Here we are though, the pool's finally clean and dry, and it's time for a fresh coat of pool paint over the whole thing. I taped off everything that needed to be taped off and then used my Wagner sprayer to coat the entire thing in one coat of paint, and then I went back over it for a second coat of paint. In total, the painting was probably the easiest part of this project. I gave it a couple hours to dry after the first coat and then went back over it again with the second coat to fill in all those lines. It might look like there's still some lines, but once it dried, those all went away and it was a nice clean white finish. We gave it about 24 hours for it to dry and started filling it back up with water. From an actual pond to a pool that we can enjoy, we are so glad that it's finally done. If you enjoyed this pool transformation in one part, make sure to give us a follow because we have tons more projects like this coming.